Hey, it's Amy and Pat coming at you from Living Our Best Life. This video is all about real talk about our trip, trying to cover everything, goods and bads, pros and cons. It's been 2 months actually in one day since we've made it all the way from Florida to Roatan and brought real soul here. Watch the video. All right, so we are going to do a pros and cons. Pat and Levi leave tomorrow. So I wanted to get this video done and posted before he leaves because it'll be a few before I see him. So we're doing basically good and bad, pros and cons of the boat trip since it's been how long now since we've been here?
A little over a month.
That's it?
The big one.
Okay. So I think we should do the negatives first.
Negatives.
Yeah, the cons, the bads.
Amount of time it took would be a negative, I'm guessing.
Because we were gone for 3 weeks total. Not on the water for that long, but
Right, just 3 weeks of travel,
right.
and we're kind of living a vagabond lifestyle, which, I mean, wasn't terrible because we got to experience some stuff that way that we normally wouldn't experience. But
So the amount of time.
yeah, time, probably stress levels, just
Yeah.
because of the unknown and what you're actually getting into, even though the apps and the weather is telling you one thing doesn't mean it's always accurate or true.
Right. Because we use Windy app and we used was there some-
Navionics.
yeah.
I mean, that was really only the real negatives for me. I mean, the pros were.
I'm gonna give my negatives.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
You can go let me talk. I'd say my negatives were the time. But the time was good because we got to spend it together.
Thought you were doing negatives.
Well, I'm just saying. It was a long time. You know, we were thinking it was going to be a short period of time, and it wasn't. And the negative was just the weather. I mean, the wind and the waves. And like Pat said, the unknown. You know, we get out in the middle of the water and it's supposed to be calm, and then the winds turn and we're screwed in 8-foot waves, you know, and I'm thinking we're going to die. Really, I can't think of any other negative besides Key West is freaking expensive, man. And we were stuck there for a few days. So, all right, pros, the goods.
Pros was we made it. Now we get to enjoy it. Finally getting all the kinks and stuff worked out of the boat, because the trip really beat the crap out of the boat. I guess that would have been a con. We had to literally tighten every nut and bolt up on that boat. When you say that to people, I don't really think they understand how hard of a trip it was. And then also another pro would be spending time with you. Obviously, it's once in a lifetime experience. Hopefully, it's a once in a lifetime experience. Cuba was great. Would love to do it under different circumstances. Mexico was great. The guys that we met were great. Seeing Roatan lights when you know you're about to be at your final destination was probably one of the best feelings ever. So, yeah, I think those are my pros.
Pros for me, we made it. I don't know why I'm being so emotional. It's stupid. But anyways, we made it. The boat was in one piece. We were in one piece. We were safe. Yeah, I just posted this morning. It's surreal that we have this boat here and that we made it, you know, all the way from Florida to here, and nobody nobody can understand the experience except for me and Pat and the other guys that were on the other boat, because we can't even explain it to you guys how rough it was. But, and I can't even explain it to you, like, don't you think it was like life changing? I mean, it changed. Anytime you experience something, I think, good or bad, it changes you in some way. But I just posted this morning, like, it's surreal that we have this boat here. We can go out it really on anytime we want and fish and take family and friends. It's been like a whirlwind. We've not been able to really take anybody out on the island. Our friends and our island family, Levi, and we had Chad and them here, and
We really haven't got to enjoy it
right. So that's like a future pro. But the pro, I agree with Pat on everything. The guys that we met, I mean, they just made that trip great. And whenever we were getting frustrated, they were like, no worries, don't worry about it. It was just kind of reminders that it's all going to work out. And it all worked out for sure. I mean, we met the right people at the right time every step of the way. I mean, I don't know what everybody else believes that might be watching this, but we just believe that God put the right people in the right time, right when we needed to. We needed an oil filter or a fuel filter, or or whatever the filter was we needed. We needed whatever. It all just fell into place. There's lots that I experienced that, like, Pat didn't get to see. Like, I got to see, like, the stars. And I'm not really a stargazer, but that was one of the coolest things, just to look up and see all the dippers and shooting stars. And Pat had the cover over him, so he didn't get to see that. But there was things that he got to see that would be a pro that I didn't get to see because I was hunkered down. There really wasn't much that he's seen out on the water, except for, like, wasn't there like a buoy or something floating out there and there was a bird on it?
That's about it.
And like the cruise ships that we passed, but really there wasn't anything out there, and we were out in the middle of nowhere, so for most of the trip. But getting to spend time with Pat, that kind of experience just makes you grow closer, I think. I guess it could have put a wedge in between us. That's what Jason asked you. Wasn't Jason? He asked you, did we fight the whole trip?
I don't think.
Somebody did. You guys didn't fight that whole trip? No. I can't remember of any time we fought. But we don't normally fight like that anyways, and it wasn't a time to be fighting because we were supposed to be banding together, not being separated. So any other pros, any other cons? There's so many things, guys. Like, seriously, I've got thoughts written down and in my journal on my phone, and I'm really considering on writing a book. And I even told Cooney and the other guys that I'm going to let everybody have their own chapter because everybody's point of view, whether it's a pro or a con or what they experienced or what they felt, I think it's going to be different because everybody's experience is different because it's your point of view, how you see things. Pat definitely seen things a lot scarier than I did because I wasn't up and I wasn't stressing about driving the boat, and he was. But yeah, another pro is that this trip just showed me how amazing my husband is. He's pretty freaking amazing. So, and we're alive. And Cuba was great, yes. And Isla Mujeres was great. And Fort Lauderdale was great. It's just expensive. Being on the water was great. Cons. Another con would be the sea salt water that we just got pummeled with every time we were on the boat. We would literally get off and we would just have salt, like, just
tiny pieces of salt just all over us, and our clothes literally were so stiff that they could stand up. And when they would dry, they would have a salt line. Yeah, once in a lifetime memory trip, everything. Anything else, Pat?
That's about it.
Yeah. So, you want to say anything about the name of the boat? You didn't really talk about that. So we finally named the boat. Obviously, we posted it. Did a video on that. Real Soul, RELL, Soul, SOUL. So you know that, or maybe you don't, that the name of our house in Sundancer is called Soul Living, SOL, which means sun in Spanish. So, anyways, Pat wants to talk about maybe the name, why we named it Real Soul. He was really the teetering factor. He's the one that really ended up picking it at the end.
I mean, so we kind of played on the word soul a little bit, but I mean, I've always been a fisherman since I was a little kid. So we just, real, REEL, for fishing reel, soul, SOUL. Just because fishing's in my soul. And a lot of people I know as well. So I think I like you.
Yeah. So, one of the people said, well, that's perfect because it's, one of our friends here, he said, that's perfect because it's a little bit of him and a little bit of you. So, anyways, but many reasons. Told my grandma the name of it and she loved it because she said, she was praying the whole time we were gone, and she said that she just knows that if God would have a huge fishing reel, he was taking care of us and reeling us in on that trip so that we were safe. So she, I think everybody has their own reason of why we named our boat what we named it. I don't know. It could be surface or it could be deep. So I guess the most important thing out of this is that we made it, we're here, and we're enjoying Real Soul. Being able to put it on the water, and when Pat gets back, we'll be able to enjoy it even more with our friends and family here and people that come to visit. And I'll be cleaning it and starting the engines and stuff while he's not here, just to make sure that it's running smoothly and not just sitting. And yeah. I don't know what else. I think that's it. Just remember, guys, to go live your best life. Life's short. Remember to dream big, live big, and love bigger. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Until our next adventure, our next journey. Hopefully nothing crazy like we had on the trip.